Alex,
How's it going?
how are you, man?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Doing good. Happy Monday. Live from the dorm room. Who's your roommate?
His name's Ellis McDonald. He's a Avon Old Farms product.
Nice.
Yeah,
Anything else on the team with you?
yeah,
Nice. Do
yeah,
all the guys on the team live together?
yeah. So all the freshmen were all on the same hall in the same dorm, and then the sophomores are in suites. They're like in another dorm in suites, and then juniors and seniors are all living together off campus.
Gotcha. Nice.
Yeah. Oh,
Um, yeah, how's the fam doing?
the family's doing well. Brother Charlie's just getting ready to graduate Tulane this
Yeah,
spring, and then mom and dad are back home right now.
nice.
Yeah,
Um,
everything's going pretty well.
you get to see Charlie at all? Has he visited you? Have you visited him?
Not much. He
Yeah.
visited me once in the fall, which was cool with the rest of my family, and then but I haven't really gotten down to see him. Just I don't know. It's the timing just never really worked out,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
Um, okay, man. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to get together this morning. Do you have any major time constraints? Do you have to get out of class or anything at a certain time today?
I'm probably gonna have to like be leaving the dorm at like 1:35 or so.
Okay, perfect.
That
Easy.
works.
All right. Yeah. All right. Sweet, man. Well, so we'll jump right into it, and I'm recording this and gonna chop it up. Like this is the first time I've gotten to interview somebody, and so gonna just jump right into it. Follow the sheets that I sent you with the questions, and just kind of roll with it from there. Does that sound okay?
Good.
All right, man. So I would like to welcome Alex to the Skylemar Start interview series, where we chat with Skylemar guys throughout the world, learning their stories, camp connections, and lives both in and beyond the 04055. Today's guest, Alex Dixon. And Alex, first question is: would love for you to tell us a little bit about your path as an athlete and your background with Skylemar and what landed you to Ohio State. And before you even get that, so I'll just introduce Alex. So Alex is a started Skylemar in the year 2013. Was a color captain in 2020, and then spent a summer as a counselor in 2022. This year, Alex is a freshman at Ohio State University, where he plays lacrosse and is a midfielder. Spent time at Western Reserve at the Brooks School, and now is a Division I athlete at Ohio State. So, Alex, I welcome you and tell us a little bit about your path as an athlete and how you got to where you are right now at Ohio State.
Yeah, that's quite the introduction. Thank you guys for having me. So like Nick just said, I started Skylemar when I was I think 8 or 9 years old in 2013, and I was a camper there up until 2020. Yeah, up until 2020, and I honestly attribute most of my athleticism and everything to Skylemar. I feel like just being there, being able to play every different sport imaginable, and being surrounded by so many great athletes, and it just kind of nurtured like a natural love for sports, and it kind of naturally grew me as an athlete over time. And as for my path to Ohio State, I've always loved lacrosse. I grew up playing hockey and lacrosse my whole life, but I've always had more of a love for lacrosse, and so when I really, it's always been my dream to play Division I lacrosse, and uh, I really, when I got into high school, took a lot of steps forward and put in a lot more time and dedication, and really pursued that dream.
So, love it. And talk to me about what a typical day is like for you as a Division I athlete. Tell me about your day today and what the rest of the schedule were. Almost so game one this weekend, right?
Yep, game one's this weekend. Mondays are technically our off days. For NCAA rules, we have to have one off day a week. So that's Mondays for us. So today I'm not really doing anything lacrosse related. I have a couple classes, but on a typical day, we usually have lift or practice in the morning, and then we'll have film or team meeting either before or after that. And then I'll have 2, 3 classes sometimes. Um, get myself some food, and usually in bed by around 9:30, and rinse and repeat the next day.
Let's go. When you say morning practice, you mean is that like 6 a.m.? Is that 10 a.m.? What time is morning practice?
In the fall, our schedule was a little bit different. Every morning we were either in the weight room or on the practice field by 6 or 7 a.m. Sometimes
Hmm.
earlier, sometimes a little bit later.
How's that for you?
I've always been kind of a morning guy. I like waking up early. It doesn't really bother me. It was definitely a little bit of an adjustment when I got here, just so much so early every single day. I definitely had to start going to bed earlier. But I never really minded that. But now that we're in season, our practices are either at like 12:30 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then 2 days a week we'll have a lift at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. Yeah.
Nice. And tell me about biggest difference between high school and college.
I think the biggest difference is kind of the lack of structure. I went to a pretty small boarding school my last year, Western Reserve Academy. It's in Hudson, Ohio, and there was a lot of built-in structure. We had 4 or 5 classes a day, and our practice was right after class. It was all like very very set in stone what we had to do each day. But now we'll have like an hour or two off here and there, and some of my classes are online. So it's kind of just figuring out how to navigate all my free time, what to do, and like what's best for me throughout the day that I'm not either in class or practicing.
Gotcha. And anything surprised you about this experience thus far? Anything that maybe coming into playing lacrosse at Ohio State or just life at Ohio State that maybe you weren't really expecting?
Um, Yes and no. I definitely did expect a lot of what's happening, but I didn't really expect like to the degree. Like I knew we were gonna have practices. I knew they were gonna be intense, but I didn't really realize how demanding and taxing it would really be on my body. Because I mean, throughout the fall we're going 5 days a week, and now we're 6 days a week, and it is a lot. And I expected a lot, but it's a lot.
Yeah, gotcha. And any major challenges for you personally thus far, be it within the midfield unit, just yeah, life as a freshman. What's been challenging for you thus far?
Yeah, so definitely the biggest challenge is for towards the end of the fall, I partially tore a ligament in my hand, and so I was out for a couple weeks in the fall, and I just kind of got back, and maybe the third or fourth day of practice that I was back, I strained my hip flexor, so I've kind of been battling injury ever
Mm,
since pretty late in the fall, but hopefully should be good to go soon. I'm trying to recover before the first game, but that's definitely been the biggest struggle, just not being able to play as much as I'd hoped.
yeah. What percent are you at right now?
Um, Currently, I'm not really able to run right now or anything, but hopefully I'm doing a lot of physical therapy, and I'm getting treatment from our athletic trainer, and hopefully I should be good to go in within a week or two.
Okay, gotcha. And in your experience, Alex, I'm just curious to ask this question. I have my take as a former college lacrosse player, but have you and are you ever really 100% when you play? Tell me about that.
Um, Yeah, you're always pretty fatigued. It's definitely they definitely do a good job, especially here at such a great university with so many resources. They do a great job keeping our bodies fresh. I like to hit the cold tub and hot tub pretty much every day. Whenever
Mm,
I'm sore, I'll get some cups on my back and try and do everything I can to recover, but you're never really 100%.
right, right. Gotcha. Tell me about what it's like being teammates with our boy Tommy Burke.
Yeah, so anyone who was there in 2020, Tommy, he's unlike anyone you'll ever meet. he's a really good teammate, a really good guy, and he's the most enthusiastic guy in the locker room. Sometimes it can get a little overwhelming. I'm sure you got a good sense of that year, but he's great and he's phenomenal. I mean, he's two-time All-American, and he's gonna be big. He was a big pickup for us this year.
Yeah.
He's gonna
Yeah.
be one of the key pieces.
Love it. And tell me a little bit about what you like about the Ohio State coaching staff. And tell me about what you think you guys do as a team, as a program that sets you apart from other programs.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, especially when I was like looking on where to go, I think the coaching staff was one of the biggest aspects for me. And I mean, when I took my visit here, I really I just felt at home. The coaching staff feels like family. Like our head coach has us over for dinners with classes, with our whole team every now and again. And they really try and connect with us on a deeper level than just lacrosse, which I think is different from almost any other coach you'll see in Division I lacrosse. And I mean, building off that, like what separates this from I feel like most other programs is how close we are. Our seniors, our senior leadership is unbelievable. I've become really close with everyone from every grade, and I feel like we're a lot tighter than pretty much any other team you'll see.
Yeah. And you guys do things specifically that you feel like really supports that, like pieces of practice that you feel like is intentional for the relationships. Tell me about that.
We have a lot of team meetings, especially throughout the fall. We're together a lot as a team, and we have times that are dedicated to kind of looking within ourselves and within our team and kind of talking through what we think we'll need to do to succeed. And I feel like that kind of stuff just really brings us a lot closer together.
Yeah, let's go. Nice. So you guys have things like when you have those team meetings, it's not just watching film. Like you guys talk about other things. Like, is there a book that you guys are reading as a team or like other things like that?
All the captains and the members of the leadership council were asked to read a book, and they have a lot of it's a lot less coach led in these types of team meetings. Like we have film often, but film is just strictly lacrosse. This is more kind of figuring out what we need to do as people, and as teammates to better ourselves and better us as a team.
Oh, nice. And so correct me if I'm wrong, but you got the phone call about joining Ohio State when you were a counselor at
Yeah.
Skylemar, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you hopped on a plane and just went straight to Columbus, committed. How'd that happen?
It actually lined up perfectly. That summer I was still playing in a couple tournaments, so I'd taken maybe 2 weekends off earlier in the summer, and then Coach Myers saw me play at one of these tournaments, and he gave me a call. It was during seventh period. I'll never forget it. I had a Zoom call with him. I took it in the garden cabin, and we talked for a while, and we were talking about days that I could go down, and it happened that I think 2 days after that was my day off. So that night, or the night before my day off, I drove back down to Boston, flew out there with my dad, and had a 1 day visit, and I committed while I was there.
Let's go. That's unreal. I love it. And then you were back the
And
next
then
day,
I was
correct?
right back the
Yeah.
next day, right back down at the waterfront.
Yeah. Love it. And last question that's specifically lacrosse related. What's this year gonna look like for you personally? So I know battling the injury bug, so I'm sure that's hampering you a little bit, but goals, expectations for this season, and then if you want to stretch it to your 3 years after this, but what's this year gonna look like for you?
Yeah, so this year I'm really excited. I'm playing a lot of D midi currently, and we have a really strong defensive midfield group, but hopefully I'll be fighting for some playing time, especially in a lot of the earlier games if I can recover quick enough. And from then on, we'll kind of play it by ear. And I definitely would like to get back on the offensive side of the ball at some point, but I really enjoy playing defensive midi. I love the group of guys that I'm playing with. We're a really gritty group of guys, and I love every second of it. And we'll see what the future holds. We're graduating 4 defensive middies this year, and so hopefully by this time next year I'll be having a lot more significant minutes on that side of the ball.
So, and so you got to campus, played throughout the fall, and at some point in the fall, your coaches said, "Hey, we really want you to be focused as a D mid," or what happened?
When I got to campus, I had a pretty good conversation with our coach, and just kind of where I would see the field the most this year and where he thinks that I would be the most valuable to this team. And I was completely fine with it. If me playing defensive mid is gonna help our team win more games, then I'm all for it.
So team first. I love it. All right, man. So now we're gonna jump into some Skylemar pieces. So I'm gonna ask you the question of some favorite Skylemar memories, but just when I say that, like what comes to mind, what people come to mind, what things. So just Skylemar memories. Hit me with some.
Yeah. I mean, there are so many to count, too many to count. I think the things that stick with me aren't really like specific moments, but it's more like the times that I remember the most are just like sitting in my bunk. I had one of the best groups of guys in my bunk. We still keep in contact with each other every now and again. But I honestly just the downtime in the bunk is unlike any other. Just getting to know the guys from halfway across the country and their guys from Spain, wherever, all just coming together in one place and really getting to know everyone is just so special.
Sky.
I think the biggest, my favorite kind of hardcore memory from there is my counselor. I was in bunk 13. My counselor Nick Cohen kind of brought wake surfing to Skylemar. He was one of the first guys to ever wake surf there, and we were out back at the X10. That was before the Axis was there, and we had everyone in our bunk sit in the corner of it to try and make a bigger wake, and he kind of taught us all how to, and that was one of the best memories from there.
That was it. I love it. And so I know that so we've termed at Skylemar that it's cool to care, and we talk about that what that means at Skylemar, that it's cool to care about others, to care about yourself, to want to be a great member of your team. But you see that vibe within the Ohio State lacrosse team. Tell me about like the level of care that these guys have on your team.
Yeah, I mean, from the second we stepped on campus, you kind of tell how much every single person cares about each other and cares about the program. There we and the guy that comes to mind, Jake Snyder, he's a captain, 5th-year senior, and he's poured everything into this program for the past 5 years. And there's no one that cares more than him. And he's kind of the way that he talks and all the other captains and seniors talk. It's really special because they genuinely care for this program and care for everyone else on the team.
Yeah. So
And
what does that mean to you? What does cool to care mean to you, Alex?
to me, so I think I know the term "cool to care" is more of a recent thing, but I feel like it's kind of been implemented in Skylemar forever since I got there. It's not really you hear it and you try to care a little bit more. It's more kind of growing up, being around it, all these amazing people, amazing staff members, amazing counselors. Like you really get a genuine sense that they care for you, and I think that especially being there for so long, it kind of naturally I just embodied the whole cool to care mindset a lot. And um, now that it's kind of in writing, it's kind of a motto of Skylemar. It's really cool, but I think that it's more embedded in everyone who steps foot on Skylemar.
Oh, love it. And what advice do you have for young guys at Skylemar? One, who want to succeed in their sport, and two young guys who are coming into their first summer at Skylemar?
I think one thing that I really took from Skylemar is that it's okay to be competitive. It's natural and it's really good to be competitive. Being a competitor is what drives you to be better, but you can't let that get in the way of what's really important. And like there were times that I specifically remember, especially throughout the color war and stuff like that, where I really wanted to win. I wanted to succeed myself, and there were times where that got in the way, and I had arguments um, and really bad moments with some of my closest friends in the world. But looking back, that can't get in the way of what's really important at Skylimar. And to younger guys, I'd say my biggest piece of advice is like, I know it's scary, especially if you're new, kind of coming into a new place where you don't really know anyone, but just come in with an open mind, meet everyone you can, try and make relationships, really get to know people, and don't be afraid to try anything. There's some things that'll be really scary at first, but if you come in with an open mind, I promise you'll find a lot more that you'd like.
So awesome. All right. And yeah, so I'll just quickly let you know, Alex, that this year for the first summer in, I think it was like 16, 17 years, we won 15 ULACs. So that was big. So I know, so your year, I guess, in 2019, did you play in it? Was it?
2019, I did play in it. We
Yeah,
had a
we came up short.
we came up short. I'll never. We had a rain delay at halftime. We came out. I think we were winning. We were winning by one or two, and there was a rain delay. I don't know if it was at halftime or after the first quarter or something. And then, fortunately, Cedar got the best of us. But I'm really proud of those guys. I know a lot of the guys that were on that team. Really happy for them. A lot of good young lacrosse players, and look forward to seeing what they end up doing in their careers.
Yeah. All right, Alex. Well, thanks for being on, brother. Really appreciate it. And